We're returning to the 1933 Goudey Sport Kings gum set for one more card. This was the multi-sport set that covered 18 different sports, 4 of them being basketball cards. This is the last basketball card in the set. It's also the second basketball card in what we consider Series 2 of this set. The set will be named 1933 Goudey Sport Kings, but as you can see from the copyright on the front of the card, this was printed in 1934. Copyright on the front, and there it is on the back in that lower right-hand corner. So, of the 4 basketball cards, the ones printed in 1933 were the Nat Holman and the Ed Wachter. The ones printed in 1934 were the Joe Lopchick and this one, the Eddie Burke. Finishing these 4 basketball cards, I'd also like to show, we talked briefly about these black silhouettes on the front, a really neat aspect of the design. The care put into designing this set even extended to that. Those silhouettes are different on every card. Look, here's the Joe Lopchick. And even though that one figure looks similar on the right with the 2 arms up, you can see the silhouettes are different. Every card, there's some variety there. So that's a really neat feature of the set. Finishing up these 4 basketball cards, it's also worth noting that 3 of the 4 are members of what we call the original Celtics. Nat Holman, Joe Lopchick, and Eddie Burke. The fact that 3 cards in this set feature the original Celtics of New York, it starts to give you an idea of how dominant they were in basketball during the 20s and the 30s. The PSA website for this card says that those original Celtics won over 90% of their games. So they were just touring the Northeast and winning over everybody. But at the same time, really popularizing the sport of basketball. I really like this card for the history behind it. We mentioned this with the Joe Lopchick or Lopchick card. The fact that basketball is hyphenated, has that dash in the middle, that's definitely a relic from the 30s. I don't think anyone would make a typo like that nowadays. Look, even in the details on the back of the card, basketball with the dash in between. That's real neat. And other details on this card are definitely dated. For example, look here on the back. They talk about Eddie Burke, here it is, this sentence, and his deadly accuracy in shooting the ball into the basket. I just think the fact that they type he was deadly accurate in shooting the ball into the basket is just another one of those quirks that puts you back in 1933. I don't think anyone would say that anymore today. That guy's good at shooting the ball into the basket. You know, you'd say he's a great shooter. But the sport really was very new back then. So, a very neat card. A very neat card. And this Eddie Burke does complete all 4 basketball cards from the 1933 Goudey Sport Kings set. I just think basketball collectors should really know about these 4 cards. We often tend to think that it was that 1948 Bauman set that kicked off the hobby. And in some ways, it certainly did. But there are elements of the hobby that really predate that set. They really do. Also, I hope you enjoyed this 4th basketball card from the Goudey Sport Kings gum. We'll talk to you later.